Very welcome to you all. Welcome to this webinar of the Master's Program Epidemiology. I would like, with starting, introducing myself and Estee. My name is Eva Voerman. I work for the Master's Program Epidemiology, and I'm involved in the education program. So I hope I can tell you everything about the program during this webinar. And next to me is Estee.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Iris.
Who are you?
Okay, my name is Esti. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a student of MSc Epidemiology at Utrecht University, and this is already my second year, end of my second year, and I'm hoping to graduate in the months to come. Yeah, and I'm happy to share with you my experiences as a student here.
I think that will be very, very useful.
Yeah.
During this webinar, we both will tell what you're going to learn in this master's program, what courses you're going to learn, what a research project looks like. I hope we can answer your questions. During this webinar, we are there to tell you about the program, but on the chat there's also Carlijn Tuin. Carlijn is working for the MSc Epidemiology, and she will answer your questions. So if you have any questions, just chat with Carlijn and she can answer her questions. If you have any technical issues during this webinar, I advise you to also contact Carlijn. She can help you out with your problems. At the end of this webinar, there will be a Q&A session. Estee and I will answer your questions that you've been asking during the webinar. So if there's a question that you'd like to be answered by Estee, please ask your question.
Yes.
If you still have any questions after the webinar, or you have an individual question, please contact us by email. At the end of this webinar, I will provide you with our contact information. So let's start. Epidemiology, what exactly is epidemiology? Very important. There are many ways to explain epidemiology, and I like to explain it in this way, that it's the science aimed at answering questions derived from daily life and daily practice. So within epidemiology, we focus on, daily life issues, daily life problems, and we analyze patterns. So think of a diseased condition, a healthy condition, and we focus on certain populations. So think of humans, think of animals, fruit flies, monkeys, whatever you like. Yes, indeed. And one important thing within this master's program, we mainly focus on patients, and you won't work in a lab. We might use lab-derived information, but you won't be in the lab yourself. Did you know that before you started?
No, I knew, yeah, because we will be dealing with data instead, and nothing to do with a lab at all. I mean, the only lab that you will hear is the computer lab.
Indeed, indeed. So you will work with computers, with a lot of data, and with that you will do your research. So in this overview, I will show you what you're going to learn in this 2 years master's program of epidemiology. The first thing you will learn is what is the best way to conduct research, what is the best method to do research, and you will focus on, in the beginning of your research, you will think of a research question, and in this step you will think, what is the best way to find an answer on this research question. You can think of what is the best study design, what is the best population in which I will examine this research question. So that's the first step of doing research. Then the next step is getting your information, getting your data, and finally you will have to do your statistical analysis. So in this master's program, we will teach you what is the best way to use statistics on your research to find the best answer on your research question. Then the third step is the interpretation of your results. So after you find your research result and you did your statistics, then it's the point in where you will interpret your results. So what does the result actually mean? If you find a significant result, what does that mean? I mean, that's not the only important thing you need to find, but what does it mean to daily life and daily practice?
How you're gonna apply it to to whatever that you are studying.
Yeah,
and
indeed.
how you can apply in whatever health research or setting or system that you aim to find the answer to.
Yeah, indeed. So not only finding
the
results, but what does it mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the most question you need to ask in epidemiology. And also in this step, when you have a proper answer for your research question, in this step you can think, okay, now I know this. What can I do further to find a better answer on my research question?
Yeah, what can be improved? What is still missing?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and how you can help other researchers in this field to add more information in the future.
Yeah, or combine the information that different researchers found.
Yeah.
And then the last step is writing scientific articles. At the end of doing research, you need to find a way to tell your audience what kind of information you found. And in this master's program, we will learn you to write articles, to write papers. In some cases, students even publish their own paper. Did you already publish your first paper? Or not yet?
Not yet. But my assignment is to write the paper instead of writing the thesis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can choose.
Yeah, indeed. And next to writing scientific articles, we will also learn you to present your research, that you're able to give a presentation on a World Scientific Congress, for instance.
Yeah, and present your data and explain it and what do you understand from it and how you can apply it.
Yeah, indeed. Within the epidemiological research, I would like to focus on this figure. We use these three components to explain epidemiology even better. What I already said, we focus on a certain outcome. This can be a diseased condition, a healthy condition, and we always focus in a certain population. So people, animals, whatever you think of. And then the third one is the determinant. And the determinant is the factor that influences your outcome. So think of genetic information, think of medication,
lifestyle,
risk factor. Yeah, indeed. So all factors that can influence your outcome. So now I hope it's a little bit more clear for you what epidemiology is about. And I would like to focus on the master's program and how it's structured. In this overview, you can see that the first component are the core courses. And in this time, you will learn all the basics of epidemiology, of statistics, and also about research ethics. And it will take around a half a year to finish these core courses. Then after 6 months, you will start your own research project, and you will also choose your specialization track. In a few minutes, I will show you our specialization tracks, and in this track, you will choose your courses that you like. So if you're interested in clinical epidemiology, choose that track, and then you can do the courses that are in that track. Then after 6 months, you will also start your research project, and this is a very large component of the master's program. And in this project, you will do your own research. So you will start with thinking about a research question. You will think about the methods, about the statistics, and finally you will end up with a scientific paper, with a research report. And then there are 3 other components. These are the electives. In the electives, you will choose some additional courses. Think of academic writing, improving your presentation skills, for instance. You might also, the second component is the writing assignments, in which you will write your research thesis or a thesis. And then there are the seminars and introduction week that you need to attend. So as already said, here's an overview of the specialization tracks that we offer. Clinical epidemiology of infectious disease, veterinary pharmacoepidemiology, occupational and environmental epidemiology, and medical statistics. So it's all up to you to choose one specialization track that suits you best. And within these tracks, there are some courses obligatory, some courses you may choose yourself. So, in fact, you can make your own study program within the master's program of epidemiology. Because the research project is such a large component of this master's program, I would like to give you some more information about this project. Your research project will be about 13 months, so it's quite some time. And in this period, you will do your own research. Just pick some research that you prefer, that you're interested in, and well, it's up to you to go through all phases of doing research, thinking about the research question, using the right methods, and finally write a report of what you did in this 13 months.
Yeah, the own research, well, actually, if you have a research question, you can actually approach the professor that are in that field and see what they are doing, and maybe you can incorporate or or maybe take their topics, their available topics, and ask them to guide you to do that project. And on the website now, on the learning environment, there's actually a long list of not long. Okay, there's a list of research questions that are they're really available for master students when they come on board.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, on our learning environment, there's also a list with these tutors, and these are the ones that will help you during your master's project. So you don't need to do it all by yourself. There's a supervisor who will guide you through the project. Did you find the research project yourself, or?
I found it through another professor. So I approached Kirsten. Yeah, okay, so she was doing global health. And then, so I told her what I want to do, the rough ideas that I want to do cardiovascular or diabetes. And she was like, I'm a bit busy. So she referred me to the next professor that was doing something similar. So just start talking to someone.
Yeah,
they will guide you.
I think that's the best way. If you have an idea of doing research, just contact a tutor, contact a professor involved in this master's program, and they can help you out by starting your real research project.
Yeah, and they're always very helpful because they want someone to do the research projects, of course.
Yeah, of course. So, there are always research questions, research subjects available. So it's really up to you, and you can do whatever research you would like to do.
And your interest, really based on your interest, because it's going to be 13 months. So if it's something that you're not really interested in, so maybe you want to think twice.
Yeah. Well, some master programs in the University of Utrecht have 2 research projects in the program, but in this master's program, you really have 1 research project. So be sure that it's a project that you like, and it takes some time to finish it. And as I already said, you will end your research project with writing a report. And in some cases, this might even be a publication that is published. So now you hear a little bit more about our program. What is the reason to study here in Utrecht? Well, one very important point is that we work together with excellent professors. We work together with several top research institutes. And that gives you the opportunity to do research with these professors and within these research institutes. So that's a very good opportunity for you. Next to that, we are a very international program. We start with about 50 to 60 students every year, and I think half of them are international students. So it's a really mixed class you have, and a really international program. And then the last part, the combination of research and courses. What we already said, you will do about more than a year your research, but you can sometimes take a week off to follow a course. So the 1 week you will do your research, and the other week you will follow a course. So what did you think of that combination?
Well, for me, because the courses that I need, it happened beginning of the season, so that I already finished all my courses and I could start on my research project.
So you did it really, yeah.
I didn't have to wait. to start my research project.
So first you have all your courses and did all the theoretical part of the program,
and
then
core, and then after that I chose my research project, and then already started the elective. It was really the beginning of the year. Then I completed it. Then I can start on my research project.
So well, that's not opportunity, but well, it's all up to you how to how to fill in your program. Then another note, this is the master's program of epidemiology, the 2 years program, but we also offer another program, and that is the master's epidemiology postgraduate. This program has an entry level of a master degree, so if you want to start this program, you already have to finish the master within life science. This program is a bit shorter than the normal MSc epidemiology program. It's about 1.5 years. And we also offer this program entirely online. So wherever you are, you can just follow the course online. This Thursday, the 15th, I will also give a webinar, and that webinar is focused on this online program and the Master Epidemiology program postgraduate. So if you're interested in that program, please sign up for that webinar too. So Estee, you already introduced yourself a little bit, but would you tell us some more?
Sure. So as I said, I come from Malaysia. This is my end of second year, so I have a medical degree background. So back in Malaysia, I have 5 years of working experience, of which 3 of which I was actually doing clinical trials in a clinical research institute, and that was when I was exposed to like studies of like public health and epidemiology. And few of my colleagues actually study epidemiology in this university. Actually, I realized. Anyway, so and I applied for a scholarship to come here, just as my previous colleagues did, and that's what I got here, and that's how I ended up here. But why specifically epidemiology at Utrecht? Well, of course the scholarship, but also I think it was a little bit different because it was more focused on specifically epidemiology, because epidemiology is part of public health, but public health is such a huge thing that very broad, and there were other things that I wasn't very interested in. But epidemiology at Utrecht was, because it was so focused, and you could actually specialize in, say, I don't know, cardiovascular epidemiology, which you can't do in other universities, for example. And you can do like, I don't know, nutritional, you can do infectious. So I thought that was very focused. And also they started with a research question first. You study the how to approach, because I started as a clinician, so then it was easier for me to understand if I ask a question about how do I better treat my patients. See, that's an epidemiological question. Like, but if I start off like learning a methodology in, say, other universities, that doesn't, I don't know, that doesn't
it's not really the right order.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's the other way around for me then, because I see it this way, how I ask a question and that's how I find a solution. So it was easy for me to understand that way. So that's how I thought this was more relevant and easier for me to understand. And so so my specialization is clinical epidemiology, and my main project focused on I studied the relationship between the good cholesterol, HDL, and cardiovascular diseases. And specifically, I look into the sex differences between men and women, because we know that men and women will have differences in the outcomes of cardiovascular disease. So men always have worse outcomes, for example. But then we also know that the good cholesterol, women have higher of it. So then that makes it interesting whether we want to know if with the good the HDL level, if the HDL level differs between the men and women, would this relationship like differ in the outcome when they get the disease? So that's what my master's was about, and I did a I went so fast. Okay, so I did a systematic review with a meta-analysis, and and in the end, systematic review is basically a method to analyze. It's a statistical method to qualitatively summarize what is the literature out there, what are they saying about this specific relationship, and I gather it, And meta-analysis is the quantitative way of saying it. Like I'm just giving a number, like the relative, the relative average of all these estimates.
Yeah.
And that's the
So focusing on all literature that there is about this
subject,
yeah,
yes,
indeed.
this question. And I think I should change the. Yeah, so why epidemiology? I already explained, because I'm a clinician. I see in the clinical way, like how I can help my patient, and also I wanted a career in clinical research, and that's why. And I know that it's important to know data, because right now, with the age of the technology, I think if you want to do something with clinical research, I think it's very handy to know how to use data, how to interpret data, how to understand, how to apply. That's very important, and I think a big part of this course actually teach you how to use data and how to manipulate, how to interpret it. So that was very helpful for me. And why UU, like I say, is back to the question. Of course, renowned international that Iris has already mentioned. So the courses that I did was, so I specialized in clinical epidemiology. So within this track, there are specific obligatory courses that you have to follow. And the rest of it, if you have the time, then you could follow. So the obligatory ones are clinical trials, systematic review, and interventional research, prognostic. Okay, then I think advanced causal was optional for me, but I took it anyways. And then the electives, the specialization was cardiovascular, global health, nutritional. All this I took in extra because just for interest. I mean, you never know if you learn something and then you could apply it, or I don't know, in the future as well. And there were also other courses that I took just for fun. But I know it's gonna build up my profile, because you never know. So I actually took something out of epidemiology. I completed a course in organization, finance, and marketing. Basically, it's about like business in life science, and it was a 3-month course.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I completed that, and I thought because that was interesting, because I want a career in pharmaceutical industry. So that's why I thought it would make sense if I do a little of that and have a little exposure on finance, on marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifically within life sciences.
So not only focusing on the real research courses, but also
we could do actually courses outside of epidemiology. If just look up to the UU website. Yeah, that's what I did, and that was also helpful for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and also, of course, you can see it in the slightly academic writing course. That's also a course that most of the students choose to improve their writing skills.
Yes. Within this academic writing, actually, it's for all the life science students, and it's not just for epidemiology students. So within this course, you will see students from other, bioscience course or other, and the lecture was quite good. Yeah, it was really helpful for me when I write my thesis.
Yeah. And if I might give a short addition, you choose a lot of different courses, and within the epidemiology program, we offer a lot of courses.
Yes.
There are about 40 or 50 courses we offer. So you can choose any course you would like to do. And next to the epidemiology courses, you have also the ability to choose for a University Utrecht courses.
Yeah. But also important thing to note is that because the timing of all these courses are different, and of course at the beginning of the course you're already given the time schedule, so it'll be really helpful to plan ahead which ones you want and which ones you want to take like this semester, and then which ones you want to take next semester, because the time might be clashing, or usually the time clashes, like these two courses you want, but then they clashes, so then you have to choose which one is more important.
And that's why you need to do the courses in the beginning of your
or either I skip it and then I do it the next year, then I have to wait another year.
Yeah, because most epidemiological courses are offered once a year. Some courses twice, and some academic writing courses is offered more. But please note that that's very important, that you need to schedule your year very, very good.
So my research project I've already explained. So my supervisor, actually, she is she was from Julius Center, but then she is still doing a postdoctor in Oxford University. So I actually had a chance to visit her at Oxford University like last autumn. So for 2 months I was visiting her, and I was partly doing my project, and I could meet the whole team in Oxford University, where they specifically study sex-specific differences between like risk factors and other cardiovascular diseases. So it was really interesting to meet the whole team. Yeah. Yeah, so as I said again, so just go around. If you have an interest, you don't know a specific question, so just ask around, just to see what's going on, and just ask as many just visit as many professors as you want to just know what are the research possibilities outside there. Then you will find something. I hope you will find something that you really like.
And it's also good to know that most of our professors within the UMC Utrecht, the Julius Center, they have a lot of connections also outside Utrecht in other universities of the Netherlands, but also outside the Netherlands. So just go and just ask, well, what ideas they have for a research project, and just find out.
So my career plans are, as I said, I want to have a career in pharmaceutical industry. So but also when you graduate from this program, you basically could work in any health institute or research institute, academia. Of course, you can continue to do your PhD, postdoc, and and also just for I put a note there as practicality because I'm non-EU. So then, of course, you think about eligibility to work, within this country, within Europe, and of course, some companies that you would like to work here can be very local, so maybe Dutch language will be required. So maybe something for you to think about when you first come here. Because when I first came here, I didn't know that I want to stay. I mean, you never know. So then 1 year or 2 years later, then I realized that I want to work here, and that's why I just started learning Dutch. But if you could plan ahead, it would be really nice. And of course, there's always international opportunities. If you get to know more people within the research center, then maybe there are, PhD opportunities in other universities or outside of Netherlands as well. So always there.
Yeah. So for working after your graduation, it might be useful to learn Dutch. What did you think of the English level during the master's program?
English.
Yeah, but was it all? Was it proper English?
It was.
And did you find it difficult to contact with all Dutch-speaking students, or is it real international?
Easy. It was easy. Yeah, the English was understandable, and everybody can speak a good level of English. Even classmates and lecturers, so it was easy.
Well, most lecturers are not native English speakers, but the whole Julius Center is English, and the whole program is in English. So that's it's not a problem at all.
No. But also, Utrecht University is a very international city to begin with. I mean, there are so many international students within the university and also in the city. Like just about everybody understands English, so you wouldn't have a problem navigating yourself here.
Good to know. Well, Estelle already gives some examples of what she would like to do after graduation, and that is exactly where we see our students continuing. A lot of students continuing doing research within universities, medical centers, in or outside the Netherlands, and there's also the opportunity to continue within research in governmental institutes. In examples of real research institutes in the Netherlands are TNO and RIVM. Also the GGD.
Dutch might be needed,
Then I think Dutch is really needed indeed. But these institutes conduct research too, so that might be a possibility. What we also see is that our students continue within policy making within healthcare institutes, and also the industry, especially pharmaceutical industry. They really need epidemiologists. They are looking for people who have knowledge of doing research. They know what research is about. And then epidemiology is such a broad research field. So what we see is that lots of students can start within the industry too. think of positions as clinical research associate, that you monitor the clinical trials. So there are lots of opportunities after this master's program.
Yeah, what I think is good as well is that we learn the methodology and not a specific disease. So even if you go anywhere else, like I said, TNO or RVM or any pharmaceutical industry that does that study other diseases, it doesn't matter because you already know the methods,
Yeah,
because it's the same. So for any other diseases, you know the way to conduct the research, to ask the question, to conduct the research, to analyze and interpret. So it's the same thing. So it wouldn't matter. So it's very
because in most of our courses the focus is on the methods and how to study it. But well, in some cases there's some example of a certain disease and
the specific ways to look in, to do that research, but then those are nuances, that you don't have to be specific in that area to do that research. You don't have to, because you already taught that method to do that.
So now you know what this program is about. I think it's quite useful to know if you're eligible for this program. The master's program Epidemiology, the 2 years program, you need to have a bachelor degree in biomedical sciences, medicine, pharmacy, or equivalent bachelor's degree. If you studied on a non-Dutch university, you also need to have a bachelor degree in, such a bachelor program, and it needs to be an equivalent to the Dutch entry level. Our admissions office are the ones that examine your educational background, and they will finally decide if you're eligible for this program or not. If you're curious if your background is good enough and it's suitable in this program, you might contact us and we can find out if you're eligible or not. Then a third one, mostly for the Dutch students. If you studied on a Dutch University of Applied Science, HBO in Dutch, you're unfortunately not accessible. We really start with bachelor students with a degree in bachelor. So that's important to note. When you would like to start your application, please note that the application deadline is the 1st of June. And when you are not an EU student, you need to hand in some more documents and more information. And that's why the application deadline for these students is the 1st of April. So that's very soon. So please keep these deadlines in mind.
Yeah, the 1st of April is important because if you're non-EU, then the visa has to take time to process. So then if you don't make it for 1st of April, then it's really, not possible. It's for the visa application. And of course, visa, we need time for that, at least 3 months. So that is why.
So on the website you see on the slide, that's the website of the University of Utrecht. And on this page, you can find all the information that a university needs. So think of, required documents, information about your educational background, your CV, a lot of information. And indeed, it takes some time to upload it all, to find it. And so that's the most important thing to say, start in time. So I think we thought a lot, but I also think that there might be some questions left. We have some questions from other webinars, so we can go through these questions too. Let me see. I can tell you something about what the class looks like. As I already said, we offer 2 master's programs, the MSc Epidemiology program and the MSc Epidemiology postgraduate program. And these students are mixed in one class. And we have room for about 60 students each year. So this is a mix of, the Epi students and the Epidemiology postgraduate students. How did you experience the mix of these two groups, the postgraduate students and the.
I think my class was almost half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, almost half of us was doing the postgraduate, and the other half was doing the normal.
Yeah, the normal.
Yeah, but then the lectures are all the same actually. What differs is actually really the writing assignment.
Yeah.
And one is without the writing assignment. The exposure to any opportunities are the same.
And did you experience some difference between the two groups? Because most of the postgraduate students
are actually PhD students.
Yeah, indeed, that they have already a master's degree.
Yeah.
What did you think of the difference? Did you notice it, or?
Well, there were more. Let's say they are more conversational with the lecturer. Of course, maybe because they already completed a master's program here, so then maybe they're more familiar with some things of the subject. You know, perhaps like I don't know, statistics method. You know, they want to discuss more. Also maybe because it's useful for their PhD project. So then they're more talkative to the lecturer, or the rest of us. Okay, that's nice to know.
Okay, that's good to know. But
yeah.
So that's a bit of a difference. But I think it's also very useful that you can learn from the postgraduate students and the other way around. Yeah. Well, I think we have another question from Shannon. Hi, Shannon.
Hi. Hi, Shannon. Oh no. Okay, so Shannon asked that so my research project was I use meta-analysis, and then she's wondering if most of the research projects are indeed meta-analysis based, or is there a mix of field work and some. Okay, so well, actually there is so many methods that you can use. Meta-analysis is just one that I chose. Yeah, so the answer is no. So, and like I say, I mean, go around, shop around with all these professors and assistant professors, those people that can help you. And if you have a research question in your mind, or you can, readily choose one, you can actually just suggest what methods you want to use that the supervisor could help you with. Basically. So not just meta-analysis.
Not only, no. And Naiman, there was another question. Can you give me some examples of courses in the veterinary medicine specialization? Well, Estée is not in the veterinary medicine specialization. The exact names of all the courses you can find on the website of the University of Utrecht. So you can also see what the course is about. But some examples are veterinary medicines, veterinary epidemiology. So what is real different within the veterinary sciences than in, for instance, clinical epidemiology.
There is I think a 3 or 4 week course of veterinary epidemiology, the core course, right?
There's not a core course veterinary.
No core is in the specialization.
The
compulsory.
And that is there are, I think, 2 or 3 obligatory courses within the track, and that is the veterinary epidemiology, but also I'm not really sure what the course is called. Something like economics of veterinary medicine. That's also one.
There are a few.
I think there are 3 or 4, but it's also up to you to choose some additional courses within the infectious diseases, epidemiology. But once again, please visit the website of the UU, and then you can find the exact descriptions of the courses and topics that they will address. Is there room for extra courses other than master programs? That's a question from Nina. And then I think extra courses outside
of epidemiology.
Epidemiology, indeed. Well, can you tell?
Yeah, Nina, sure. I would like to answer to Nina. All right. So Nina asked if there's extra room for other courses outside of epidemiology. So as I explained, I've taken a business course outside of epidemiology, but within the life science graduate school. So yes, there is room, but also you have to think about, do you have time in your schedule then? because that was the extra time that I had to do something that I want. So then it fitted well. But of course, there are always extra courses that you could take. But you have to think about your time schedule.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And well, in the electives, it's just up to you what courses you would like to choose. The only important thing is that the program coordinator is the one who needs to check if the courses you will choose are
will fulfill the track that you chose. Actually, that's the most important part. And additionally, you could take whatever that you want, and you have time for it. Of course.
Yeah. Then another question from Oscar. If I am already involved in an international research project, is it possible to establish a collaboration with a UU professor and work on that as my master's project? Well, I think there are a lot of possibilities. I think the most important thing within your research project and also during your writing assignment is that you have the supervision of an Utrecht University professor. So you really have to choose a tutor from the tutor list we have, and that's the one who is the main supervisor of your project. So in some cases, it is possible to work on another project, well, in another research institute or another university. But it's the most important thing that you are supervised by, well, a University Utrecht supervisor. Do you have something to add to that? Or
because Oscar is asking, is it possible to establish collaboration? So maybe I think he's trying to ask, like, if the supervisor could actually support you to do an existing project. So maybe this is on an individual basis, I think, because you can just, and like I say, approach anybody. And if you can find somebody, a professor that is specialized in that area that you're looking into, and they are willing to supervise you and and to collaborate this international project, so why not? So it really depends on if you could find the right person, and then this professor has the time and he has also the same interest into what you're looking at. So why not?
And next to that, if you have this project you can work on, and you have a supervisor from the university. It's also important to finally get the final okay from the program coordinator. She's the one who will finally decide, okay, this is a project that is okay within this master's program. So that's the final okay you really need to have.
Yeah, the most important thing is that we must have a supervisor based in Utrecht University. So then that person is the main person that will evaluate your work, and not somebody from outside.
That's the examiner. And that's also because we would like our supervisors to give similar marks and similar
system that we use here and not somewhere else. Then it's not equivalent.
So that's important in that.
Hope that answers the question.
I hope so too. And one additional remark I would like to make. In some cases, it's also possible to use the electives to do a very small research project you would like to do by yourself. So if you choose to do a research project here in Utrecht, there's also the possibility to start a very small research project within another research institute or outside the Netherlands, or even within a pharmaceutical company, or just it's up to you how you would like to structure your program. So I think we could have a look at last questions. Let me see. Shannon, you don't bother us at all.
We like to answer questions.
Would you mind explaining if you spend more time in a classroom or independently on your classwork? Also, if more classes are scheduled during the day or at night? Could you answer the first one?
Yeah, sure. I would like to answer that. Okay, so Oh, okay. So Shannon is asking if we spend more time in the classroom or outside of the classroom. So I would say, okay, let me just run through like what happens
What did I
during
do?
a course. Okay, so normally one course, okay, I'm speaking about elective course then, like the optional courses, like it runs like per week. So the Monday, you start on a Monday and you end on a Friday. And Monday is the introduction, and then it ends with Friday, the exam day. So I would feel it's a little bit intensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is intensive. And then what happens throughout the week is that so mornings from 10 till like lunchtime, you have
9.
yeah 9 or 10. It wasn't 9 or 10. Sometimes 9, 10.
Sometimes.
Okay. Then you will have lectures in the classroom with about 50, 60, depending on the attendance of the intake. And then you have a lunch break. And after the lunch break, from say 2 to 4, you will have computer exercise or further discussions or exercise, just group exercises. And then that will happen from Monday to Thursday, and then Friday you have the exam. And so I would say pretty much like the whole day you'll be in the classroom, because from morning lecture and then afternoon is your exercise, and then at night, so you go back, you probably leave about 5 to 6 o'clock, and then you're at home, and that's your independent time. What you want to spend, you want to study more.
Or study for the exam.
Or study, yeah, because Friday is already waiting.
Yeah.
The exam is there. So that's pretty much what happens every time when you choose the elective course.
Yeah. So most courses we offer, so the core courses and the specialization courses, you will have lectures, mostly in the morning indeed, and then in most courses there is an assignment or
group work.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Writing a small report, or reading articles, or and most courses end up with an exam, and you need to study for that one.
Yeah. And I hope that answers that.
Also, if more classes are scheduled during the day or night.
During the day.
Yeah.
There are no classes at night, no classes at weekends either.
Yeah. Indeed. Let's see if there are some other questions. Another question about, is it possible to work part-time while you're studying? Or does this program demand full focus? Well, this face-to-face program is a real full-time program, so it's important to know that you really needed to focus on your program from 9 to 5. It is possible to do a part-time job or in the weekends, but we really recommend to focus
on the course.
Yeah. Did you work? Or?
No.
Not at all. No. You really need the time. Yeah. So I would like to round up with these Q&A sessions, and would like to send you our last information about our contact information. In this slide, you can see the 2 websites with all the information about the master's program. The first one is from the university, and the second one is our own MSc Epidemiology website. If you still have any questions, some individual questions, please don't hesitate to contact us by email, mscepidemiology@utrecht.nl. So for now, I would like to thank you for your participating in this webinar. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next year, hopefully.
Bye.